this is Wendy with Loaves and Dishes, and today we are going to be making tender, fall off the bone, perfect every single time pressure cooker baby back ribs. They are so easy to do. The first thing I want you to do is look at the ribs I have here. These are pork baby back ribs. I bought them at Sam's Club. They come about 3 or 4 racks per package. You can see the price I paid, $35.82. And that is enough to feed about 8 people. I always figure half a rack per person, unless I'm going light on side dishes, and then I figure a full rack per person. I wanted to show you this difference of some ribs you can find at the store. These are pre-seasoned. They already have a barbecue type sauce on them. They are spare ribs, so they are a little different cut of the rib portion. I just wanted to get those out to show you. But what we're doing is baby back ribs, and they are unseasoned, so I'm going to add the flavor as I put them in the crock pot. You can see I'm just opening the package here, trying to be careful not to cut myself or the ribs. And once I get them out, you'll notice that baby back ribs, all ribs, have a front and a back side. The front is the side that you can see in the picture right now. It has a layer of fat and the meat, and then when you turn it over, you'll see that there is some skin in there, and it's best if you can get hold of that and really pull that back skin off. I tried tugging it and I could not get it loose, so I didn't want to struggle with it because I know the pressure cooker really softens everything. So I'm just cutting off the loose pieces. And now you'll see I'm cutting the ribs into portions because that's how it will fit in the pressure cooker. And you want to do those in 2 or 3 rib sections so that they fit and so that that is a nice serving size for the people you are serving. It's a little odd cutting ribs because it's not a straight across cut. You'll notice as you're cutting them that you look for the meaty portion between the ribs, and then it's kind of an angled cut to get through there. And sometimes as you get to the end, see, I've reached a hard spot. So it can be a little tricky. What I do is turn it up on its end and cut down to where it is together and I can't get it apart, and then I just work with it and see what is stopping my knife, whether that's bone or tendon. In this case it was a little piece of bone, and I had to wiggle it back and forth until the bone separated where I could see there it separated, and then I could just cut that loose. So it's not just, totally straightforward. And then you'll want to remove those little ragtag pieces before you put it in the crock pot. Before you put it in the pressure cooker. So there goes my first rack into the pressure cooker. My pressure cooker, which is a 6-quart Calphalon pressure cooker, will hold about 2 racks of ribs. You do not want to fill your pressure cooker more than 3/4 full. I'm looking to see if there's any place I can get hold of that membrane, and I really can't, so I'm just going to cut off the loose piece as I'm doing here, and then cut these into pieces as well. So depending on what size pressure cooker you have will depend how many ribs you can cut. I just can't talk today. Will depend on how many racks you can fit in there easily. Don't fill it more than 3/4 full. Okay, so once we have our ribs all cut, what we're going to do is add some seasoning to the pot, which we will get to in just a second. And that seasoning is going to be half a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of dried thyme, a cup of apple juice, or you can substitute chicken broth, beef broth, or some water with stock concentrate. And in this video, that is what I did because I didn't have any apple juice. but I would recommend the apple juice. It adds a nice sweet flavor, and it's just a very light hint of apple. And then for later in your recipe, you're going to want about 3/4 of a cup to a cup of barbecue sauce, but we'll get to that after it's cooked. So here you can see me adding the ingredients, and what this does is the flavors of these ingredients, and you don't have to stir it around, you just sprinkle it across the top, and those flavors will just infuse right into the meat while it is cooking. So once you have all of your seasoning added, there goes some, I added a little bacon grease so you can add that too, but it's not in the official recipe. Once you have all of your ingredients added, all you do then is to seal the top and place it on your stove over high heat. If you're using an Instant Pot, you're going to want to set your Instant Pot on high, and then I would go first time with a 30-minute cook time. You can try backing it down on successive repeats of this recipe, but go with 30 minutes to start with. I usually check mine after 20 minutes, and if it needs more cooking, then I bring it back up to pressure and cook it longer, but 20 minutes is generally fine. So you seal the lid, cook on high pressure for 20 minutes, and then allow your pressure cooker to return to normal pressure naturally. And what that means is you just turn the stove off and you wait for the little red button to fall back down. So once that's done, this is what your ribs will look like. You want to be very careful removing them. Here I'm checking just to make sure they're completely done, and I can kind of tell because I can really see the bones, but you want to make sure. And then you want to be very careful removing them because they want to fall apart. You'll see what I do here is eventually I turn them all meat side up, and that's kind of important to have them all facing the same way, because in a moment we're going to carry them out to the grill and put them on the grill, and we want to put them meat side down so that the meat side gets a really nice grill mark on it. While I was waiting for my pressure cooker to return to pressure, I started my grill and let it heat up to blistering hot, like high heat. I'm going to paint these really well with barbecue sauce, and then with a thick coat of barbecue sauce, and then I'm going to take them out to the grill, and I'm going to put them meat side down onto that flaming hot grill for about 2 minutes on meaty side down, and then I'm going to flip them over and do bone side, the inside layer, for about another minute, and then I'm going to take them off and they'll be completely ready. I'm using Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce here, but you can use any barbecue sauce you prefer. Just make sure it's a thick kind with a relatively high sugar content, because that sugar is what gives you such a nice char and what tastes so good in the final product. So this is all you do. You just paint it on there good, make sure you get the sides, and then when you put them on the grill while they're charring for that first minute or two, you can paint the back sides of them. Painting the back sides is not as important as the meat side. And then they're ready to serve, so have your side dishes ready to go. And so this whole process takes at most 45 minutes. It's not a terribly long process. Baby back ribs go great with a baked potato and a salad, or rice, or macaroni and cheese. You can really go crazy. We like to have something maybe a little healthy with these, since I don't know that this is the healthiest recipe here. So oven roasted broccoli or green beans or asparagus is delicious. Oven roasted fingerling potatoes and baby carrots are great. Something like that goes terrific with these ribs. Or you can just go, weekend recipe and do macaroni and cheese and maybe some green beans. So anyway, I'm going to carry these out to the grill. They're going to get really roasty toasty, and they're going to just be delicious. I hope that you've enjoyed this recipe. I hope this explains everything you need to know. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe so you know when new recipes come out. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Wendy. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you'll join Sarah and I on our mother-daughter adventures in takeout. You can find Dorks with Sports wherever you download podcasts or at dorkswithsports.com.